You're listening to GWP Live. It is Sunday, March 15th, 2026, and it's about 1:25 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So we are going back live because we have some ongoing severe weather across the area. So we just wanted to update you on that. We also wanted to update you on some other hazardous weather that we have that's going to be happening later today here across the state of Missouri, but also just as well as kind of a national view of that as well. So we've got several different things that we are tracking today. Of course, we've got that severe weather threat. We do have some active severe warnings just to the south of the Lake of the Ozarks area, just to the west of Lebanon, where we do have that. We do have our first severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect. So we want to show you that here. So we're going to move that over here. We've got severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Dallas, LaSalle, and Camden counties across central and southwestern Missouri until 2 o'clock here. A severe thunderstorm was located 8 miles to the northeast of Buffalo, moving to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. Now, the main risk with these severe thunderstorms, and we talked about this yesterday, but our main risk is going to be for 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts. In this case, we're talking about 60 mile per hour wind gusts, which again is considered at severe limits. Anytime we're talking about 58 to 74 mile per hour winds, which is forecasted today, we're going to be looking at that risk for severe winds that could tear down trees. Maybe some uprooted trees is going to be possible, and ripping off of shingles. That's what your risk is anytime you're talking about winds between 58 and 74 miles per hour. So that's the kind of damage that we can get with the kind of wind speeds that we're looking at today. So again, this is the storm. These storms are continuing to strengthen and will continue to do so as they move further towards the east. So these storms are kind of developing on top of our area as they continue to move further towards the east. Now, the good news is if you're west of this area, so if you're, let's say, in Flemington here, or if you're just to the west of Buffalo, if you're in Hermitage, if you're in Wheatland, if you're in Cross Timbers, Stockton Lake, of course, Nevada, over to Joplin, all of these areas are in the clear for any severe weather. And you might be wondering, well, we didn't have any severe weather. Well, again, that's because the thunderstorms developed to your east. And so the cold front has now moved through. We've actually got temperatures right now in Nevada in the 40s right now, but we have temperatures in the 60s across mid-Missouri where we're still experiencing those thunderstorms because the cold front has not come through yet. We've got some rain with some heavier storms just to the south of us here in Columbia. We had some moderate rain that moved through earlier. Now it's just a bit windy here. Temperatures are still in the lower 60s, but we are noticing a temperature drop. We were in the upper 60s about an hour ago, and now temperatures are at about 60 degrees. We've seen a really big temperature change very recently that has taken place here. So let's go ahead and see if we have any new updates here. So again, just this one severe thunderstorm warning, but this is very likely the first of many severe thunderstorms that we are going to see as we go throughout the day. Now, of course, this is live, so there could be some mistakes anytime that we're live on the air. I'm going to try something new that we haven't done before here. So we're just going to, we're going to try something a little bit new here. So we'll see if it works. So here's where our thunderstorms are at. They're going to continue to advance further towards the east. Again, as we've already mentioned here, this area that I've circled is in the clear as far as any of the severe thunderstorms because that cold front has moved through the area, and so that is going to limit any severe weather. Now, any precipitation out to our west that's going to continue to move through here, that could come in the form of snow, and so that's something that we're going to have to watch as we go later into today. Of course, further toward north across Minnesota as well as into Iowa, we do have that ongoing chance for some wintry precipitation here. So again, just trying some things new here. So again, that's where we got some of that heavier precipitation here. We've got some heavy snow across Wisconsin. We've had some blizzard conditions reported up there. And so this is all snow. So again, this particular radar that we're looking at is the National Weather Service radar. This just shows you the amount of moisture that is reaching the ground. That's essentially what this is. And so it shows up as rain, even though some of this is snow. So just keep that in mind here. So this is not showing you different types of precipitation. This is just showing you the amount of moisture that is falling at the surface, whether that moisture is falling in the form of rain, in the form of hail, in the form of snow, in the form of ice, sleet, graupel, whatever it may be. But that's what we're looking at here. So again, that's what we're experiencing here. So we've got some stronger storms just to the south of Columbia around Jefferson City. It looks like we've got a heavy storm about to move through Eldon along US 54. Again, Lake of the Ozarks is starting to get into some of those heavier thunderstorms. And again, this one storm to the west or northwest of Lebanon around the Camdenton area. So Camdenton is under this severe thunderstorm warning just to the east of Max Creek, kind of in Roach towards the Lynn Creek area. That's where we're looking at the possibility of some 60-mile-per-hour winds with some of these thunderstorms that are moving through. Everywhere else at this point in time is just regular thunderstorms with non-severe winds. Now we have the potential for some 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts with some of these storms in northwest Arkansas, as well as into just to the southwest of the Springfield area. So these storms right now, just south of US 60, those are producing 50-mile-per-hour winds, and some small hail is going to be possible. But again, at this point in time, we don't have any severe hail. It's just this one severe thunderstorm warning where we have the risk of 60-mile-per-hour winds. So that's something we're going to have to continue to watch. So let's show you those current weather alerts that we have here across the country. So we've got all sorts of different alerts at this point in time. We've got blizzard warnings to the north here across Iowa into Illinois, Wisconsin, where we've been getting some winds anywhere from 50 to 60 miles per hour across that region. So that's been a really big concern. We have an ice storm warning across northern Michigan, and then the UP of Michigan under that blizzard warning. So quite a big contrast there from what we'll be experiencing. Up to a half an inch of ice is possible across northern Michigan through tomorrow morning. We've got winter weather advisories across New Hampshire and Maine, where we're going to be experiencing some snow and ice across that region. A lot of this is going to come down as freezing rain. So we've also got the ice threat across this region as well. Wind alerts extending into the northeast. Of course, we're under a wind advisory here. Then we've got a winter weather advisory across Missouri, northwestern Missouri, just to the north of us here in Columbia and towards the west. So Kansas City is under a winter weather advisory. We've got wind advisories, as we mentioned, across Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, Ohio, just really anywhere across this kind of tan region that we have. Then we got those high wind alerts that are in effect across New York, Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, more high wind alerts across Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Colorado, into New Mexico as well. We've even got a fire risk going on across this area. We've got red flag warnings across Louisiana, extending into Texas, New Mexico. We have some active wildfires across Oklahoma that are beginning to spread because of some of those strong winds and dry conditions that we have. We've got some freeze alerts here across Arkansas, Mississippi, and Tennessee, Alabama, as well as into Georgia. Even the panhandle of Florida, we could be looking at temperatures below freezing over the next couple of days here. I also forgot to mention that we have coastal flood alerts along the East Coast, where we could be looking at some erosion and a couple of feet of inland storm surge across that area. So coastal flooding along the East Coast is going to be possible as well. We've got the heat that is ongoing. We've actually got the potential later this week for some triple digit heat across Arizona and California. Temperatures can get as high as 108 degrees across that region. We've even got hazardous weather across the Pacific Northwest, where we've got some flooding, some additional wind concerns across Montana as well. And then, if that wasn't enough, we've got winter storm warnings across Alaska, where we could be looking at around a foot of snow later tonight across southern Alaska. We've got flood alerts across the state of Hawaii, and then we've also got high wind alerts across the state of Hawaii as well. So, all sorts of different alerts at this point in time are going on here across the country here, the lower 48, and we just had a tornado watch issue. So yeah, so we've got so this is just a really crazy setup that we're dealing with. We've got a tornado watch and a blizzard warning in the same state. That state is Illinois. And then we've got tornado watch now across Missouri, and then we've got a blizzard warning in Iowa. So just kind of crazy that we're dealing with that here. at this point in time. So we kind of expected that, but we do have now a tornado watch that has been issued here. Let's see if we can get that pulled up here. So this is a very recent development that we had. A tornado watch was just issued here. So we'll try to see if we can get a closer look at where that is here. So here's that tornado watch. Osage Beach, Jefferson City. This is just to the east of Columbia. So Boone County is not under this tornado watch, but Callaway County is just to our east. So we've got Cole County across Jefferson City, and then we've got Callaway County to the east of Columbia. And so that's where we've got this tornado watch that is in effect. So tornado watch is now in effect. This extends into St. Louis, across eastern Missouri, as well as into southwestern Illinois. Again, the main risk right now is going to be for high winds, but we're going to be looking at that tornado risk later on. And so that's something that we're going to be watching. So this tornado watch, again, you can see some of the counties that are listed, goes in effect until 8 p.m. this evening. So, newly issued tornado watch across southern and eastern Missouri, just to the east of Columbia, not including Columbia, but it does include Osage Beach, Jefferson City, and just points to the east of there, all the way over to St. Louis, and then parts of southwestern Illinois are also included in that tornado watch. And that tornado watch goes until 8 o'clock. And then, literally about 100 miles to the north of that tornado watch, we have blizzard warnings in effect. Boone County is the only county that separates the tornado watch and the winter weather advisories in the state of Missouri at this point in time. So this just shows how dynamic of a storm system that we're dealing with. The fact that we can have tornado watches and blizzard warnings within the same state at the same time. So blizzard conditions and tornadoes at the same time in the same state are going to be possible. Obviously not at the same location at the same time, but in the same state at the same time is going to be possible. So just kind of a crazy setup that we're dealing with at this point in time. And again, we do have active alerts, including a new tornado watch that has just been issued across eastern Missouri, as well as into southwestern Illinois through 8 p.m. this evening. So that's something that we're going to have to continue to watch. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to show you so yeah, this mesoscale discussion was put out by the Storm Prediction Center a little bit earlier. And again, that does highlight pretty much the same area that was just issued under that watch. We're looking at 65 to 80 mile per hour winds, weak tornadoes, as well as some large hail across this red area. Now again, if you are to the west of the cold front, including Joplin, Nevada, Clinton, Sedalia, and then anywhere west of Lake of the Ozarks, your severe weather threat is already over because that cold front has come through and the environment is no longer favorable for severe weather. Now, you've seen a really big drop in temperatures, and that's going to continue to happen over the next couple of hours. So that's something that we need to watch. So yeah, again, it's one of those things where it really depends on where your location is. If you're in the eastern portion of Missouri, you have a severe weather risk, tornadoes, strong winds, and large hail. If you're in the western part of Missouri, the cold front has moved through, your severe threat is already over, and now you're looking at the risk of colder temperatures and wintry weather later this evening, which we're going to talk about in a moment, because we could actually be dealing with snow in some of the same areas that are dealing with severe weather today. And so again, that just kind of shows the nature of the spring storm system that we have. All right, so just heard some thunder outside here in Columbia. So the severe weather or the severe thunderstorms are now starting to approach the area at this point in time. And so again, that's the reason why we do have that tornado watch that was issued. All right, so where is our severe weather threat? So we do have that enhanced severe weather risk to our east. That includes places across Louisiana, eastern Arkansas, far southeastern Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama. This is where we have the highest severe weather risk for today. Enhanced risk, that's a 3 out of 5 on the scale, so it's not necessarily the highest on the scale, but it's a little bit more kind of in that elevated range. So that's something that we need to watch across this region. And then we've got, or let's go back to that for a second. We've got a slight risk for severe weather across our viewing area. And then again, as you get towards St. Louis, your severe weather threat increases. Tornado risk, again, is very low for our region. From Interstate 49 to Interstate 44 to Interstate 70. That's our viewing area. The tornado risk is just to our east, and so that's the good news here. The highest tornado risk is going to be across Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Illinois, and then western Tennessee and Kentucky. That's where we have the highest risk for tornadoes for today. Again, here in our viewing region, our biggest risk is going to be strong gusty winds anywhere from 60 to 75 miles per hour. But most of our winds are going to be on the lower end of that scale, around 50 to 60 miles per hour. But 70-mile-per-hour winds are going to be possible. And again, we're in that 5% category across this region, then you get to that 15% across St. Louis. Once you get to St. Louis and points east, that's where your threat for higher winds is going to be there. So that's something we're watching. All right, let's go back to the radar. We'll see if there's any big changes that we have. Okay, so now we have that tornado watch that has been issued, or it's now been highlighted on the radar. So again, Jefferson City is right here. So we've got Jefferson City. Here's Columbia. So Columbia is kind of right in the middle of that tornado watch and that winter weather advisory that's just to our northwest. Again, Lake of the Ozarks. We've got Lebanon. We've got Rolla. Springfield is not under the tornado watch, so it's just to the east of Springfield. And then we've got West Plains as well. Table Rock Lake is kind of on the edge of that tornado watch as well. So that's the area under the tornado watch. Again, this particular tornado watch goes until 8 p.m. this evening. When we look at the active severe weather alerts that we have, as far as severe thunderstorm warnings, we've got this one just in the northwest of Lebanon. So here's the update. So 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail. So the hail threat is beginning to go up just a little bit. So if you're in this area, if you're in the Camdenton area, if you're in the Eldridge area, and really just anywhere in between here, we're looking at the risk for 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail. And so that does include Lake of the Ozarks, Bennett Springs State Park, the Tonka State Park, Camdenton, Lynn Creek, as well as many other small villages across that region. So again, not a super populated area, but of course it is the weekend. So we had nice weather yesterday, so it's very well possible that we could still have some people that were traveling across this region or in the region who are visiting for, maybe they were out on the lake yesterday. Would have been a really good day to be out on the Lake of the Ozarks. And so people could still be there. So that's something that we need to watch as well. So really just this line of thunderstorms. This is really our main risk. When the line of thunderstorms moves through your region, your severe weather risk is over. If it never went through, but it's to your east, you're not ever going to see this line of thunderstorms. And so that's kind of the good news about this storm. All right, we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning across northwestern Arkansas. This includes the Springdale and Fayetteville area, 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. This warning goes until 2:15 p.m. for Benton and Washington counties in northwestern Arkansas. Again, this does include Fayetteville and Springdale. And again, there is that risk for some large hail of up to quarter-size hail. So again, we've got two severe thunderstorm warnings that are active along this severe line that is continuing to move through, including one severe thunderstorm warning here in the state of Missouri. All right, so that's what we're looking at here. So again, we've got that severe weather risk to our east. Again, the threat is going to be higher as you go further towards the east. So of course, that's something that we're going to be concerned about. All right, so as we mentioned, this live stream is not just about the active severe threat that we have right now across the state of Missouri. The live stream today, this is kind of what makes our severe weather live stream a little bit unique today versus most days, is today we're also looking at the risk for severe weather tomorrow, as well as other hazards, including the wind risk, including the snow risk, including the colder temperatures. So we're also going to be looking at all of that. Before we move out of talking about severe thunderstorms, I want to talk about tomorrow's severe weather risk. And so this is for the East Coast. If you're going to be traveling across this area, I want you to to be aware of this because this is a pretty significant risk as we go into tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have a moderate severe weather risk across northern South Carolina, central North Carolina, Virginia, and into Maryland. Washington, D.C. is under that moderate risk. So that's a 4 out of 5 on the severe weather risk. And then that elevated or enhanced risk goes all the way to the coast and all the way down into northern Florida. So the cold front will move through. Temperatures will be much colder across the state of Missouri, but that severe weather threat that we're dealing with today is going to advance its way further towards the east along the Interstate 95 corridor as we go into tomorrow, which includes some very populated areas. We do have a kind of a moderate risk for severe weather or tornado risk across this area. So we've got that 15% category from South Carolina all the way up to Washington, D.C. So Washington, D.C. is under a little bit of a higher tornado risk. We also have that hatched area. You'll notice that we have that hatched area all the way up, even into New York. We could be dealing with tornadoes. From Florida to New York, that's going to be the area that's under the tornado risk as we go into tomorrow. That hatched region, we're looking at the possibility of strong tornadoes. Strong tornadoes are considered EF2 tornadoes or stronger. So a few, again, most of the tornadoes are going to be EF0 or EF1s, but a few could be stronger of up to EF2 or EF3 tornadoes. So keep that in mind. The wind risk is going to be the biggest concern here. We have that hatched area indicating winds of 75 miles per hour or greater, including major cities. We're talking about Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Virginia Beach, Virginia, Raleigh, North Carolina, and Norfolk, Virginia. Those areas looking at the risk of hurricane force winds with this line of thunderstorms that's going to develop during the afternoon hours tomorrow. So severe weather risk for today across Missouri, but an even higher risk for severe weather along the East Coast if you're going to be traveling across that region, with the main risk being very strong straight line winds of up to 70 to 90 miles per hour. And then we're dealing with the risk of tornadoes. Some could be EF2 or stronger across this region here. So the Mid-Atlantic and Eastern Coast region, that's where we're going to be dealing with the highest severe weather risk as we go into your Monday or tomorrow. So, all right, so of course, that's the really big concern that we have as we go into tomorrow. All right, let's see what else we have. Do we have any big updates? Again, we've still got that tornado watch that's in effect. So, before we talk about the winter weather, I want to see if we have any new updates at this point in time. It looks like we are. Yeah, so we've still got that severe thunderstorm warning northwest of Lebanon around the Camdenton area. 60-mile-per-hour winds, penny-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-sized hail for this warning in northwestern Arkansas. The line of thunderstorms has now moved just to the east of Columbia along Interstate 70. This line of storms is about to move through Jefferson City, so watch out there if you're in Jefferson City, as this line of thunderstorms is going to be moving in within the next few, let's say 20 or 30 minutes. It's going to start moving into that area. All right, so that's where we're at when it comes to severe thunderstorms. So again, this kind of outlines our area. So again, we've got Jefferson City, Osage Beach, Stockton, Burnett, Springfield, all of those areas under that marginal risk. And then we've got kind of a higher risk as you go further towards our east across Rolla into Houston, Missouri, West Plains, and Branson under that slight risk. Again, our best chances for severe weather are going to be from now until about 4 or 5 o'clock. Then these storms will start to move out of our viewing area. So again, strong winds, 60 to 70 miles per hour. A couple of tornadoes are going to be possible. So that's one of the threats that we're watching. But as we mentioned, there is a cold front coming through. It's dropping off our temperatures very quickly. In fact, just since we started the live stream, our temperatures have already dropped off about 5 degrees. So within the last 20 minutes, temperatures have dropped 50 degrees. Gosh, I hope not 50 degrees. We'd be in really big trouble if yes, we will see a 50-degree temperature drop between now and tomorrow morning, but not in 5 minutes. So within the last 20 minutes, we've dropped 5 degrees. So we've had a 5-degree temperature drop just since the beginning of this live stream. So that is quite a difference. And again, we're going to continue to see that difference as we go forward in time. All right, so that cold front is going to move through. Temperatures will continue to drop today through the 50s 50s, through the 40s, through the 30s, and again, even into the 20s and teens as we go into the overnight hours. And because temperatures are going to get below freezing, we have some moisture on the backside of this storm system that could fall in the form of snow. So we're looking at the possibility of some light snow as we go into this evening and into the overnight hours. We could even be looking at accumulating snow. Now, that being said, any precipitation. Now, this is one of the key messages that we have. This is from the National Weather Service in Springfield, Missouri. They put out this key message saying any precipitation on roadways or sidewalks will begin to freeze. And so that means really, so what they're saying is that any of the rain that we see this afternoon could freeze very rapidly with those rapidly changing temperatures, and then it could freeze and create a layer of ice. So that's something that we have to watch out for. So we need to look. So we've got this risk of a flash freeze. So we need to continue to monitor travel conditions for the potential of that flash freeze. So the precipitation that's already fallen today could freeze later this evening and could create a layer of ice. So that's something we need to watch. And then again, on top of that potential layer of ice, we're looking at some light snow that could fall. You'll look at the probabilities of seeing a dusting of snow or a tenth of an inch, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty low across Nevada through Joplin, but as you get further to the north across Lake of the Ozarks, Jefferson City, Columbia, that's where you're going to have your better chances of accumulating snow. So far southwestern Missouri, probably not seeing a whole lot of accumulation, if any. But as you move further towards the north, closer to Interstate 70, that's where we're going to have the higher chance of accumulating snow. So you'll want to watch that as we go forward in time. And then we're also under a wind advisory that continues from today until 7 a.m. tomorrow across the National Weather Service area in Springfield. So this area goes until 7 a.m. Columbia, the wind advisory goes in effect until noon tomorrow. So through tomorrow, wind advisories are in effect. As of right now, at least here in Columbia, the winds are not super strong, but as that cold front moves in, we're going to see much stronger winds. We've had winds of around 25 miles per hour in Nevada as of right now, but those are going to continue to go up over the next couple of hours. So how strong are the winds going to be? Across central Missouri, we're talking 30 to 40 mile per hour winds, and then around 40 to 50 miles per hour as you go closer towards Nevada and Joplin. So the western portion of Missouri, the winds are going to be a little bit on the stronger side, potentially gusting at times of up to 55 miles per hour. So travel could be difficult for high profile vehicles. If you have any outdoor furniture, it could be blown around a little bit. And so that's something else that you'll need to watch. And then we could even have some small tree limbs come down as a result. And so again, this is not from the severe thunderstorms that we're going to see today. This is from additional winds that we're going to be dealing with this afternoon and evening through tomorrow morning. And then again, once that cold front moves through, windy conditions through tomorrow morning, but we're also dealing with some very bitterly cold temperatures as we go into your Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures are going to be in the teens across the state of Missouri for the next couple of days, but wind chills are going to be even lower than that. We're looking at sub-zero temperatures, or wind chills are going to be possible, and then single digits is where we're going to be at for wind chills as we go into Monday morning. So cover all exposed skin, bring any pets indoors, and then also make sure to stay indoors if you can, because again, wind chill values are going to be anywhere from -5 to around 10 degrees as we go through tomorrow morning and then even into Tuesday. And then again, there is the possibility for some light snowfall accumulations as you go further towards the north. So just kind of as a quick recap, so we've got severe weather with the line of thunderstorms ahead of the cold front between now and about 3 or 4 p.m. Behind the cold front, rapidly dropping temperatures. With that change in temperatures, we've got the risk of some snow later this evening, and we could be looking at upwards of an inch of snowfall across northern Missouri, and then more around a dusting as you go further to the south. Because of some of those stronger winds and colder temperatures, by tomorrow morning, we're going to have wind chill values around 0 degrees with actual temperatures being in the teens. So, and then on top of all of that, we've got strong winds of 40 to 55 miles per hour, not related to the severe storm threat. So you've got severe thunderstorms, you've got gusty winds without the, outside of those thunderstorms, you've got snow, And then you've got rapidly changing temperatures from the 60s this afternoon to the teens overnight with wind chills in the single digits, if not below zero. So those are all of the different hazards that we're looking at. Let's go ahead. Now we're going to show you the precipitation forecast. This is from Tropical Tidbits here. We're looking at the NAM 12Z. So this is from the morning run. And so you'll notice again, thunderstorms developing later this afternoon. So here's 3 o'clock. You'll notice eastern Missouri beginning to get in on that line of thunderstorms. But that cold front will continue to move through very quickly over the next several hours. And then by about 4 or 5 p.m., light to moderate snow is going to begin to move in across Missouri. It's going to be very brief across southwestern Missouri, but as you go into central and northern Missouri, that's where we're going to have the longer duration and heavier snowfall rates, which could lead to greater accumulations. This snowfall will continue through tomorrow morning around 3 a.m. This will begin to move out of here. Again, the heaviest chance for snowfall and the blizzard conditions, all of that is going to be staying to our north. But light snow accumulation with blowing snow possible this evening into the early morning hours tomorrow across the state of Missouri. So that's something that we're going to be watching very closely. So again, snowfall accumulations, we've kind of already gone over this. A dusting is possible around the Nevada area with up to an inch. Some of the models are even saying maybe an inch and a half across Columbia. So that's something that we need to watch very closely. And so, kind of looking at these probabilities, this is something that we've been looking at. This is the probabilistic precipitation portal. This is from the National Weather Service. And something that I want to mention is this is kind of an experimental project that the National Weather Service is doing. So just kind of keep that in mind. But anyway, so here's our snowfall forecast from NOAA showing that again, maybe a dusting around the Nevada area, maybe not any accumulation. Then as we go towards Jefferson City, about a half an inch, Lake of the Ozarks, a quarter to a half an inch, and then maybe upwards of an inch as you go towards Columbia, with the heavier snow totals staying to our north across far northern Missouri and into Iowa. And then in Wisconsin and Michigan, some really heavy snowfall amounts are going to be possible. So, what are the odds that we're going to get a dusting of snowfall? Again, as you go into southwestern Missouri, those odds are going to be pretty low, around 30, kind of 40, 50%. But as you go further to the north, much higher chances. What about the odds of seeing an inch of snowfall? It's going to be low across Columbia, but again, some areas could be looking at up to an inch of snowfall or more along Interstate 70 and points to the north. So as we mentioned, big change in temperatures is on the way. So again, there's that surge of colder air. This is going to continue into tomorrow. Afternoon highs tomorrow are going to be in the upper 20s. And then wind chills are not going to get above 20 degrees tomorrow. So that's going to be a really big story. So much cooler temperatures as we go into tomorrow. Again, Monday night staying cold, Tuesday morning staying cold. And then as we go throughout the week, temperatures will finally begin to warm up. All right, and then we've also got a fire risk that we need to mention as well across New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma. There is a critical fire risk across this region here. It's a 2 out of 3 on your fire weather index scale, so that's a big concern today. And then tomorrow, fire risk ongoing across southern Texas, as well as eastern New Mexico and western Texas. So the biggest fire threat is going to be for today. So again, across the U.S., we're dealing with blizzard conditions, an ice storm, flooding, tornadoes, strong winds, fire danger, high wind warnings. We've got heat across the desert southwest. So, and then we've got freeze alerts, and then really big drop in temperatures with wind chills and then snow as well. So all sorts of different hazards are in play. And then a lot of that is affecting us here in the state of Missouri where we have the risk for high winds, severe weather, big drop in temperatures, and snowfall. Those are our 4 big hazards that we're going to be dealing with here across the state of Missouri over the next really 24 hours. So it's going to be a pretty short event, but it's going to be very impactful during the time that it's affecting us here. All right. So it is the top of the hour here. It's 2 p.m. Central Daylight Time here in the state of Missouri. It is Sunday, March 15th, 2026, and we are still alive here bringing you some updates on some of the ongoing severe and hazardous weather that we're dealing with across the state of Missouri. We're mainly focusing on the severe weather threat that is ongoing with this line of thunderstorms today across our region. A couple of active severe alerts at this point in time. So we do want to take a look at both of those here. We've got a new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued south of Jefferson City, not including Jefferson City, and this includes Osage Beach, Lake of the Ozarks, and then points to the east of there. Eldon is included in this severe thunderstorm warning as well, expanding over to St. Elizabeth as well. So that's where we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. This includes Maries, Miller, and Camden counties until 2:45 p.m. A severe thunderstorm was located 8 miles to the southeast of Osage Beach, moving to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. The hazards with this thunderstorm are going to be 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail. Expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. We're dealing with Lake of the Ozarks, Eldon, Osage Beach, Iberia, St. Elizabeth, Lynn Creek, and then as well as many other smaller villages that you'll notice here. There's also a tornado watch across this region that remains in effect until 8 p.m. That tornado watch goes all the way over to eastern Missouri and southwestern Illinois, including St. Louis. St. Louis under that tornado watch. So that's one of our severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, that is moving through Lake of the Ozarks and points to the east of Highway 54. Then to our south of that, we have another severe thunderstorm warning that has actually just expired. So the storm has weakened below severe limits, and so the severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect across Camdenton has now expired. So this severe thunderstorm warning northwest of Lebanon has now expired. So that's good news. So now we're just down to this one severe thunderstorm warning in the Lake of the Ozarks area south of Jefferson City, where we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail. So that is an ongoing storm at this point in time. We've also got additional severe storms across northwestern Arkansas. This one has now moved to the east of the Springdale area, so we've got that ongoing at this point in time. Let's look at some of the details on that. This one goes for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail, and so again, it was located 3 miles to the south of Springdale about 20 minutes ago. So hail damage to vehicles is expected. We've got wind damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Again, Springdale, Fayetteville, as well as many other of those smaller villages under that risk for this severe thunderstorm. This warning goes in effect until 2:15. So we've got severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail across northwestern Arkansas, including Springdale and Fayetteville, until 2:15. And then we've got a severe thunderstorm warning around Lake of the Ozarks and points just to the east of there until 2:45 for 60-mile-per-hour winds. So those are the ongoing severe weather alerts that we do have with this line of thunderstorms as it continues to move further towards the east. All right. Well, since we don't have any further information to report, we are going to go ahead and end this current live stream. We'll continue to update you if there's